Welcome back to your Pixlr screencast. So we just covered our first set of tools. We did crop, move, marquee, pencil, brush, and I believe we did the type tool just because I felt like throwing it in there. Now we're just going to sort of move on to trying to go more down the line again. The lasso tool. You got a few options here, okay? The lasso tool allows you to sort of draw. Sorry, give me 1 second. That did not go as planned. Lasso tool allows you to draw around with more of a freehand style instead of a marquee like a elliptical or or rectangular marquee, and then that becomes the thing that you cut and paste. Okay, so that is sorry, no, I pasted the last thing I did from the previous screencast. We want to cut that out and paste, and then you see now it's like this kind of I have freehand marquee tool. One of the things that you can do, however, if you go ahead and you deselect, if you go ahead and deselect, you can go to the lasso tool and say that you want a polygon lasso tool. That allows you to actually click instead of dragging. You click here, click there, click there, click there, click there, click there, and click there. Now that wasn't an exact outline of my ear. I can move it over with the arrow keys though, so I'm going to do that. Ever so slightly, get to the move tool there, and then you're gonna have that over there, and then if you just click on it and remove it, you can quickly cut it, or you can decide to copy it. But as you can see, the magnetic lasso tool allows you to choose different points and then finally connect them. Magic wand is very useful, very cool. Okay, what you want to do, Magic Wand basically does is it selects things of similar colors for easy deletion or color changing or copying or pasting. So my tie, for instance, I click here and look at that. It actually did a pretty good job of highlighting my tie. One thing I want to show you here is that if you missed a little bit, you can click Shift to do plus and add more. But you have to be careful that it doesn't add stuff you don't want just because you're trying to get the stuff that you missed. But anyway, so you could see that it highlighted the amount that it highlighted. Now, why did it do that much? Because my tolerance is at 21. If I go ahead and move my tolerance up to, let's say, 60, and I try that same thing again, okay, and I try that same thing again, watch how much more gets magic wanded. So you really have to find that sweet spot of like what's going to only select what I need. So 15, check that out, basically did the whole tie. And then if I do a little plus here, I'm not going to be worried that it's going to find more things and it'll just get the tie. So now look, if I go to the move tool and I just hold down control and pull away the mouse, click and pull, it takes away my tie and I can hang it now from my nose. But you see that the magic wand tool is very, very useful for highlighting different things and doing stuff. So for instance, if I wanted to get rid of this whole background, I'm not guaranteeing that this is going to work so well, but look how much of that background I got with a tolerance level of 15. If I put that up to, let's say, 32, which I believe is the Photoshop default, now look how much more of it gets taken out, but because of the color shirt I'm wearing in this photo, it bleeds into my shirt. So you sort of have to find, like I said, that sweet spot and sort of do it over again and hope that it doesn't take out too much. But if you see, let's say that was the best we could do, right? I might be willing to live with deleting this much because what I can do now, and I'll show you the other tool here, Eraser allows you to, and you make the brush size bigger, Eraser allows you to just go clean up the things you missed, right? And now, let's ignore the fact that I got some of my shirt because we're just going to chalk that up to the fact that I picked a photo where the school background for my school picture was similar to the picture I'm wearing. But if you can imagine that it didn't get my shirt, I've just now removed the background from my photo, which is very, very helpful. And now, if I go to the move tool where nothing is selected, I'm moving just me around. Okay, so this is really, really important to use. The magic wand tool is going to be your friend and you should get to know how it works. You should probably leave anti-alias and contiguous checked. That's going to do the job for you most of the time. We're not going to really get into that. So that's basically how all of that stuff works. I'm going to go back to the way my photo was before and deselect everything else. And now we're going to move on to another tool. So let's take a look at the eraser tool, which we touched on a little bit earlier. That is exactly what it says it is. It erases things for you. Sorry. Gotta unlock the background layer. It erases things for you. Now you change your brush size over here and you can, that's basically all there is to the eraser tool. The paint bucket tool is very good for filling in big things. So let's say this isn't going to look good, but I'm just going to show you how it looks. Let's say I want my tie to match the color of that Ohio. I already did that in previous screencasts. I matched it to Ohio, but just to show you again, you click on color and then choose something in the photo. So you know what? Let's say this green over here, this bluish green. So now my paint bucket is set to that green, and when I highlight this thing, it will highlight everything that's a similar color and turn it into the color that you selected. Now, again, there is a tolerance level here that you can mess with, and if you up the tolerance level, watch again, if I set it to 60, it's now going to bleed into other areas of my shirt because the black tie is connected to the black square here, which is connected to the black square there, yada, yada, yada. But again, that tolerance level around 21 is their default, and that seems to be the best one to use in general. But as you can see, depending on where you do your things, you can change stuff. Like you notice there with the I love voting, notice how my paint bucket tool, and I'm going to zoom in just on that. Notice how my paint bucket tool, which is G by the way, filled up the most of that Ohio thing. So if I go tolerance level 35 and then I say boom, it's going to do more and more, and then you can also just click it again. But obviously then when you zoom out, okay, you're going to end up seeing that a person who looks at this photo wouldn't necessarily notice that that Ohio was never red. Again, there are ways to, you know, do it better and mess with what level of you know, tolerance you're going to have, but we want to make sure that you just understand how to use these tools and not spend a bunch of time in the screencast doing random things. So we're going to stop the screencast here and continue in the next one with more tools. See ya!